We're going to talk about getting started on our new writing assignment, Gobblefunk. So we're calling this your Gobblefunk Guidance. So the goals of this presentation, there are three of them. The first thing is I want to introduce the assignment to you. The next thing is you'll get started on your brainstorming. And then lastly, you'll transition into actually writing the first paragraph of your paper. So what is informative or expository writing? The first thing is that it's informing the reader about a topic. The second thing is that it's exposing them to new information. And the third thing that's really important to understand is that this is not a narrative, which means you're not telling a story. And it's not a persuasive piece of writing, which means you're not trying to convince anyone of anything. You're just giving them information. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to pick a name for your creature. And these are the silly words that Roald Dahl, the author of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, made up but never got a chance to use. So you may have chosen this already with your entire class, or if you weren't there with us, you can pick one and use this as the name of your creature. I want to remind you that your creature is allowed to be silly and very creative and made up. So even if the word that you pick, if the name that you pick sounds small and dainty, the creature that you come up with can be huge and grotesque. It's totally up to you. So you can pause the video now if you need to look these over, but I'm going to keep going. Step 2 is going to be some brainstorming that's going to be done on a separate document. So let's walk through and see what that looks like. Now you will find yours in your today's assignment folder, but I'll show you one right here. Now obviously this is kind of zoomed out. So what you can do to make it larger is after the document loads, you'll go up to this little magnifying glass right here. You'll click on the spot that you want to be able to read a little bit better. So I've got what I need. I'm going to scroll up, grab my cursor. So it tells you now is your chance to invent a creature of your own. Fill in at least 3 details or facts about your creature in each of the boxes below. The questions in each box are meant to help jog your creativity. You do not have to answer each one of them. Your creature can be totally bizarre and ridiculous. Have fun with this and be creative. Full sentences are not required. So when you brainstorm, it's supposed to be laid back, very quick, just getting ideas down. So you'll see this first section asks you questions about the creature's appearance. You can answer some of those or all of those, it's up to you, but your brainstorming can go down in this space here. In the next section, you're asked about predator and or prey. What kind of creatures are a threat to this animal? How does it defend itself? Does your animal hunt other animals? How so? Does it use camouflage? Is it sneaky? Does it set a trap? Or maybe your animal is a herbivore and it just gathers food. So talk about that. And then lastly, you're asked to brainstorm about the history and significance. So that means things like how or when was the creature found? By whom was it found? Was this discovery important? Are they rare? Does the creature provide some important resource, medicine, etc.? So you'll do your brainstorming on this page, or you can even do it on a separate piece of paper if you would like. So once you've done all your brainstorming, and again, you should not continue on if you have not finished your brainstorming. This is a great place to pause and brainstorm if you haven't finished that yet. When you do, here's what will happen. Now you can see where I've given you an example of the brainstorming I did. So I've come up with a creature and I listed a few things about it. It's got scales, feathers on its wings. It's got huge eyes. It's got a medium-sized body. It walks on all fours. You can see everything right there. So I started off by just brainstorming things about what I want it to look like. And then I picked the ones that I was interested in using. So you can pick 3 or 4. You'll probably come up with more ideas than you actually end up using. So here are the 3 things I picked. That it's got a white belly with greenish scales and wings, that it's got huge eyes that see color and detect movement, and that it's got scales on its body but feathers on its wings. So for each one of those, I try to come up with an additional thought that gives more information about that detail. Your additional thoughts are supposed to add on to the detail that they come after. So his white belly and greenish scales or wings, here's my additional thought. When the prey looks up, which means the thing they're hunting, when it looks up, they see the sky, but when the predator sees them from above, they blend in with the ground. So if they're greenish gray and something's flying overhead, maybe they won't notice it. Second thing, the huge eyes. Here's my additional thought. Those huge eyes allows it to hunt prey from great heights and dive quickly with accuracy. And then the last thing, I said it has scales and feathers on its wings. I said it makes flight possible, but it also camouflages the animal. Maybe the fact that it's got scales and feathers makes it blend in. So now that I've got all of these ideas, I need to pick a topic sentence that I know would hold everything. I need a big enough umbrella that all of my details would fit underneath of that. So my whole paragraph is about what it looks like. So I decided to go with, this creature has a very unique and useful appearance. And if you want to borrow that one, you are more than welcome to. But if I look at the support details I picked, they are all on topic with a main idea or a topic sentence like that. So then I wrote a paragraph out of it, and it goes like this. A lot of people wonder if a creature like the pukul has ever been seen. Well, of course it has. The pukul has a very unique and useful appearance. For starters, its body is almost entirely covered in scales, with only its wings being covered in feathers. This helps it to fly, but also camouflages its appearance a bit to hide from predators. Additionally, the pukul has huge eyes that detect color and movement very well. This helps the creature to hunt by spotting small prey from the sky before swooping down. Lastly, the pukul's body is white on its belly but greenish-brown on top. This means that creatures looking up into the sky might not spot the pukul, and predators looking down on it might not be able to see it as easily. So all I did was take these details and additional thoughts and turn them into a paragraph. And here, I've done a little bit of highlighting to show you the different parts of my paragraph, and these should look a little bit familiar to you from your WeVideo script. So I took the same paragraph and I highlighted my topic sentence green, I highlighted my organizational patterns in blue, my support details in yellow, and my additional thoughts in orange. And what I really want to point out to you is that for every support detail, my additional thought comes afterwards. And that's what your paragraph should look like too, so that you have a pattern of yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange. So now that you've looked this over, here's what you're going to do. The first thing you're going to do is pick one of the sections that you just brainstormed. You brainstormed about 3 different things. I want you to pick one of them. Then I want you to either make a new space on that brainstorming page or go back into it or just get out a piece of paper and do it somewhere else. And I want you to pick 3 or 4 details that you want to use. So maybe you came up with 6 or 7 like I did. I want you to pick 3 or 4. Then, just like I did, I want you to brainstorm an additional thought for each of those supporting details, just like I did. And then you're going to pick a topic sentence or a main idea that will cover all of your details. So it's got to be a statement that everything fits inside of. Then lastly, you're going to write a paragraph, and you'll see that that's in the assignment folder for Gobblefunk. You'll see one that's called it's where your writing space is. And then before you show it to me, you're going to highlight just like I did. Before you move on, you're going to show me this paragraph that you've written, and we'll confer about it together. So those are the next steps. Before moving past your first paragraph, you must have a writing conference with Mr. Hendelman and get his approval. Number 2, after getting approval, you'll write the remaining 2 paragraphs of your paper. You're going to follow the same instructions you used for paragraph 1, including highlighting. And then lastly, after you've written those paragraphs, you can submit the paper. So right now, you are just worrying about those 3 paragraphs that you brainstormed for. If you have questions, make sure you ask Mr. Hendelman, or if you're in a class with Mr. Wilkinson, you can ask him as well. But do not hesitate to ask. Thanks a lot for paying attention.